Okay, we're back live again. I apologize, everyone. What I didn't realize was I am testing out some new software here to do this live streaming, and what I didn't realize is there's a 10-minute limit. So I'm going to set a timer here, and we will be done in less than 10 minutes. We will be done in 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Apologize for everybody getting booted off. So let me continue here. So I'm interested in everyone's thoughts on that. Usually I'm the one giving advice, but I'd love your input as well. So I've got an Electro Voice. I've got an Electro Voice RE50L, so it's an interview mic, dynamic. It's omnidirectional, actually, and the idea is that you don't have to be so hardcore about aiming it just right, like you would with a cardioid. However, it's not going to reject quite as much as a cardioid would, but on the other hand, it's a dynamic, so it's going to pick up basically what's close to it and not much of anything that's not close to it. So that's the idea with an interview mic like that. And then the lavaliers. And I think my sense is that probably the interview mic is going to do a little bit better in terms of capturing what we need and not capturing what we don't need. But the lavaliers will be there as well. So we'll see how that pans out and see which one works better on the show floor. Again, the lavs. In terms of what I'm using with the lavaliers, the wireless system are a couple of things. Yeah, sorry about that. The live stream did stop at 10 minutes. My bad. So anyway, what I'm going to be using in terms of lavaliers, I'll have a Countryman B6 attached to one of them, probably the one that I wear. That mic works pretty well for my voice, and then we'll have a DPA 4160 attached to the other one, which is, again, 2 professional level items. Yeah, so Greg, everyone, sorry, we did lose me. It's my mistake. What's happening here is I'm actually testing some new streaming software to get this going here, and what I didn't realize is that it has a 10-minute limit while I'm still in the trial mode. I should have just, I wanted to try it at least once before we invested in it, but it's working aside from the fact that it just cut me off at 10 minutes because I am not actually a paying subscriber yet. That's why we got cut off. So I apologize for that. We're going to wrap it up here in the next few minutes anyway. So that's what we're doing as far as the setup for the live kit, and hopefully that'll pan out pretty well for us. A couple of other things. I am working on a Zoom F4 course. Zoom F4, that has been probably the most requested course, and I am working through that. Some of you may have seen on my main channel, we did put one of the segments from the video up there. I made a mistake. There are some better ways to do what I was describing there, and that is how to send audio from the Zoom F4 over to a camera, a consumer-grade camera with a 3.5mm microphone input. And so lessons learned there. Number one is what I found is a bug in the F4, basically, where the tone that you send out to calibrate the levels on the camera with the levels on the mixer go pre-fader instead of post-fader. So you have to do a kind of funky workaround to get that working. And on the first example where we didn't have to use the output faders, I had the camera's microphone input set to probably, I think it was 7 out of 20. Ideally, what you'd want to do is bump that down to its lowest setting and then adjust the mixer from there, the F4 in that case, output level from there. So I'm going to reshoot that one, but in any case, that should be coming here in the next month or so. I was able to take 4 days and work on it last week, but I'm not going to have any more time to work on it for a couple more weeks, so it may be a little bit before we get that finished up. So that's what we're looking at. So what else? At NAB, I am kind of the ones I'm probably the companies I would look for that I think are going to have some of the more exciting product announcements. I'm not sure what to expect from Sound Devices. I don't know any ideas, but they did reach out to me and said, hey, we'd love to have you come by. We've got some things to announce. So I don't know what to expect exactly from them, but I'm always excited to talk to them. Zoom, I would expect a new product announcement there that is very relevant to the things that we talk about on our channel here. So I'm looking forward to that. And Deity also has some new things coming, and I think, not positive, but I think there's going to be a new microphone that's going to complement. This is a guess, total guess on my part. I don't know the answer. But I think they're going to have another boom microphone, one that might be better suited for indoor use, but I'm not sure on that. That's just a guess. So we'll see how that pans out as well. From Aperture, I think we're going to see the Lico light. That was something this is not a sound related thing, but a lighting related thing. Last year they had at the booth a Lico light that that they had announced. We still haven't seen that in person, but I am told by a little birdie that it's getting pretty close. So hopefully we'll see an actual production unit of that at the show floor, and that they'll start shipping that fairly soon. I don't know if they have any other product announcements. I would like to see I'd like to see that RGB light that Aperture announced last year come to fruition, but we haven't heard anything since NAB last year on that one, and hopefully that'll come soon. That would be a really nice addition as well. So I think that's everything we've got for this week. Any questions? If you've got a question in the comments, we'd love to hear from you again. We've got 4 minutes before we get kicked off again. Does anyone besides Carrie have a question? Because Carrie's really just here to heckle. Let's see if let me just run through the questions here. Joe. Oh yeah, Joe asks a correct question. Joe Caruso, would that be the same with the Zoom F8? Actually, I need to double check that, but I think Joe, I think the Zoom F8's output fader actually does work. So I think it's just I think if I remember correctly, it's just a bug on the F4, but I need to double check the F8 as well. I think the F8, when you send tone, the output fader actually will attenuate the output tone if you need it to, or boost it even if you need it to. So that's something I need to test again, but my recollection is that works okay. Thomas Donalex asks, is any chance that the Zoom announcement is an F4N? Anything's possible. Stay tuned. We'll have some more information for you next week for sure. How do you combat the ambient noise on the floor? Well, first of all, Carrie blocks and tackles for me. He actually almost literally tackled somebody one year who was going to walk right in front of the camera. But the biggest thing is we've been using microphones like this. This is a dynamic microphone, the Electro Voice RE50L. Last year, I think we used the Rode Reporter, which is a similar type thing, just a different company. These are dynamic microphones, so they really only pick up what's relatively close to them. So you've got to be pretty close. Interestingly, it's not cardioid. It is actually omnidirectional. But the way, and the reason they do that is so that you don't have to be so careful about aiming it, and you can move it back and forth between the two people that are talking fairly quickly. And that's probably that's the thing we've done in the past, and we're going to still use that this year, but we're also adding lavaliers this year just to see how they compare. So again, the name of the game there is using microphones. We're really relying on basically the inverse square law. So whatever sound is close to the mics is what will be picked up. Everything else will be picked up not as much. So that's the main thing that we do to manage the noise on this show floor. All right. Thanks for that question, Michael. And then Malcolm, huge fan of the channel. Thanks so much, Malcolm. Appreciate that. Just want to say thank you. Can't wait for your NAB coverage. Thanks. What do you think about the Aperture Mini 20D kit? I haven't really, I think I got a really, really early copy of that before it was working, and it wasn't quite ready for prime time when I got it, and then I don't think I ever got one of the production models, so I'm really not sure. But the thing that I had an issue with in the early version, and I don't know if this was the case in the production models, is that little fan in there was kind of noisy. As a sound guy, that kind of drove me crazy. So those were some of my thoughts there. Greg asks, do you have an 816, an 8070, or an MKH70 long shotgun in your kit? I don't. I generally haven't. If if in the future I need to do something like that, I'll probably rent one of those first rather than own it. But I don't have a long shotgun. But for those that are curious, it's a longer shotgun microphone, literally, physically longer interference tube. And the way most people describe it is it has more reach. Technically, it just means it has a polar pattern that's more focused. Oh, and we're going to lose our time here, so I've got to stop now. Apologize for that, guys, but thanks so much for tuning in. And we will be back with you next week with some live coverage. Take care, everybody. Talk soon.